latest around the wide world of tropics. Tropical Weather Bulletin for June 5th. Here we are right now. What we have active is not much at this moment in time. The remnants of Blanca and the degenerated Choi-Wan, which is now part of a frontal system off the coast of Taiwan. This June 5th, day 156 of the year so far, with nothing obvious on the horizon elsewhere just yet. Day 5 of the Atlantic hurricane season shows no areas of interest, but watch out beyond the 5-day period. There could be something on the way for the Western Atlantic, but still that remains to be seen. Chances low, and will probably remain low for some time. In the Eastern Pacific, it's day 21 of hurricane season, and we do have an area of interest that will probably become our next storm as it moves out towards the open Eastern Pacific. An 80% chance on a system that could really develop in the next 48 hours, and that would be our next storm. And in the Western Pacific, we have one area of interest, only 10% at the moment because it's late in the 5-day period that we're indicating this. Also, beyond the 5-day period, we could also see another area in the South China Sea. Of course, with what's happened so far this year, things forming and then not forming, that remains to be seen whether we'll actually see anything at all or not. Indian Ocean, no areas of interest, but some models still persistent on potentially one more tropical cyclone on this side of the year in the northern part of the Bay of Bengal in about a week or two. This is the Atlantic right now then, looking fairly quiet. The red and orange zones there, that's dry air, and it's quite dominant in the usual spots for the Atlantic and in the Caribbean Sea as well. Tropical disturbances few and far between, very low latitude. In the Eastern Pacific though, this is what we've got right now. You can see that naked swirl on the towards the left hand side of the screen. That's what's left of Blanca. It's still got some winds, 35 miles per hour by satellite estimates, but not got the convection, and to its east there you saw that area of interest, which is looking good by the way. Western Pacific looks like this, fairly calm and quiet now. You can see what was Choi-Wan getting eaten up, gobbled up you could say, by that front that's moving through, extending from southern China all the way through the Japanese islands, and so the storm's energy is all within that now. Here's the Indian Ocean, how it's been looking in the last I think 12 hours. I think this imagery is, and a few flare-ups in the tropical zones, but not much to talk about in terms of any organised activity at all. And this is just a look at the Western Pacific, where we had our floater during Choi-Wan, just to show you all of those convective tops over the Micronesian islands, Palau and the Philippines. Still getting some rain from just a few small scale disturbances, but nothing significant is going on now. Sea surface temperatures remain warm in the Eastern Pacific, of course, and they will be building 30 degrees plus along the coast of Mexico, extending out not too far out to sea. Of course, we've got lower temperatures than average out there. The Atlantic warming up as well, 26 degrees plus in the Gulf of Mexico quite comfortably. Almost all of the Gulf now under that 26 degree plus. 28 degrees in the Loop Current and in the Western Caribbean Sea. Those temperatures are only going to increase, as we all know. And this is the Indian Ocean. Temperatures recovering, have probably fully recovered now since the two cyclones a few weeks ago. And in the Western Pacific, Choi-Wan hasn't really done much. Sea surface temperatures still very warm there. 30 degrees, pushing 32 off the western coast of Luzon. And in the Philippine Sea, temperatures off the boil just a little bit, but still very warm, 28 to 30 degrees, extending all the way out towards 170 degrees east. And this is the sea surface temperature anomalies. You can see again the subtropics of the Western Pacific way above average. The Eastern Pacific, you can see that clearly blue area, which will stunt development out in those areas, but warmer than average closer to the coast of Mexico, which could favour activity near there. The Atlantic, a bit of a mixed bag there right now along the US coast, a little bit below average in the Gulf. June 5th, 2001 saw the formation and landfall of Tropical Storm Allison, the first phase of this remarkable storm on its trek to become the first tropical storm strength storm named to be retired in the Atlantic basin. That is not a hurricane. Was subtropical later on in its life, but the tropical landfall occurred today, and that's when huge amounts of rain, a deluge over Texas, which caused really severe flooding over some significant population masses as well. So looking at our list, the next name in the Atlantic this year is Bill, followed by Claudette. In the Eastern Pacific, we could be about to see Carlos fairly soon. In the Central Pacific, the next name is Hone. Looking at the Western Pacific, we're looking out for Koguma next up, followed by Champi. In the North Indian Ocean, the next name is Gulab. And we've had 28 storms to the tally so far this year. As we take a look towards the Southern Hemisphere, in the Australian region, the next name is Paddy, Southwest Indian Ocean Kanga, and South Pacific is Cody. That's all for now. We'll have another tropical weather bulletin tomorrow night.